You're listening to ESOPOD, the Foliance ESOP podcast. Hey everybody, today I'm joined by Jason Lennox. He's the Director of Operations at Lifeline Emergency Vehicles. Jason, how you doing?
Hey, it's good to be here, Sean. How are you?
Good. It is about Thanksgiving, actually the day before Thanksgiving, and we were just talking today. It's a horribly cold and windy day in Iowa. So, Jason, why don't you introduce yourself and maybe give a little bit of background of who you are and where you've been?
Sure. So, like Sean pointed out, my name is Jason Lennox. I've been with Lifeline here in Sumner for 5.5 months, almost to the date. Happy to be here and excited to see what we can do to increase production and get things rolling out. A little bit about me. Like I said, my name is Jason. My background has been more in the life sciences and biotech and pharma industries historically. The last position I had, we did clean rooms on demand, where we built clean room facilities, GMP, ISO certified clean rooms, and rented them out to a client base and new product development companies trying to get products to market in the pharma industry. Prior to that, I spent 24 years at Integrated DNA Technologies in Coralville, Iowa, where I started as employee number 46 as a sales rep, moved quickly into an engineering technician position, and then I ended up running an engineering department there, where we built all our own equipment, designed our own equipment, and maintained and calibrated all our own equipment. So spent a lot of time there. During my time there, I got a large introduction and then background in lean manufacturing. We were purchased by a company called Danaher out of the East Coast, and Danaher have their own business systems, which is based on TPS, which is a Toyota Production Systems methodology. So they had a lot of tools that they had developed for basically improving the facilities and improving the company as a whole, and trying to go more from a Six Sigma lean perspective. So I spent a lot of time learning that during my time there, and hoping I can bring some of those tools to Lifeline to try and implement some of those here.
Yeah, so I know you've been Director of Operations or similar roles before. How is that different coming here to Lifeline, or is it the same?
From a manufacturing standpoint, I like to consider manufacturing as manufacturing, but it's a little different when you're down at the kind of nanoscale versus building ambulances, which we do here. So I went from being able to do things on a desktop as opposed to needing, a production line to be able to run and build ambulances. So it's a little different from a manufacturing standpoint. I feel that we can utilize some of the same lean methodologies and tools that you find in any kind of industry, right? Be it semiconductor, be it pharmaceutical, be it manufacturing. And I feel that we can utilize some of those tools here to gain some more efficiencies.
Okay, and something I've noticed about you just in the time I've been around Lifeline, you are almost never at your desk. I always see you out and about running from place to place. Is that
Yeah.
kind of typical for you?
Yeah, so I feel that supervisors, managers have to kind of lead by example, and I like to make sure that I'm not sitting behind a desk every day. That would be too easy for me. I'm more of a hands-on and want to learn the systems and the processes, and that's a little different here, like I mentioned earlier. But it's something that I pride myself on and I'm passionate about. Like I want to make sure that the staff, the resources are there for them to be able to do their jobs more efficiently. And yeah, so that's why you don't see me at my desk a lot. I'm on the floor a lot, making sure that people have what they need.
Great. I think we've maybe already touched this a tiny bit about bringing some of the tools and efficiencies, but what do you see as like a success for you as Director of Operations? Like what would be a successful 6 months or year or whatever?
That's a good question. I think initially, I feel like we're moving from what you could consider a mom and pop kind of business to something that we want to be an industry leader in. We already have the products to back that up. What I really want to try and do is how we get a foundation and put more processes in place so that anybody can come in and do the job, as opposed to having what we've historically had of tribal knowledge and tenured staff that may leave at any time, and then we don't gain that expertise that they have brought from X number of years at Lifeline. So I want to try and get some processes and some baselines in place so that we can utilize that for new staff coming in, have development plans for new hires, and have a more robust onboarding process for our, our employees. I really wanted to make it so that Lifeline is a best place to work for people when they want to come here, as opposed to just wanting to have a job. They actually can have the background and the pride to be able to take that to the next level.
Maybe related question to that is, so people want to work here is the goal. What kind of a culture would you want to facilitate on the production floor?
Yeah, I love the interaction that we have. You know, we're developing a really good team here. We've got good leadership at the senior level, and we have it even at the floor level. And I want people to be passionate at what they're doing every day and come to Lifeline and bring the pride that they would bring for something that we're doing at home and put that into the ambulances every day. Want us to be number one for quality across the industry. We're be able to do the customizations as our clients and dealers expect us to do. So I want people to be interactive. I want people to be able to talk about stuff. I want them to be able to bring ideas and not feel like this is the way we have to do it because it's the way we've always done it. So I want that interaction with people to actually be more uh, bought into the whole program that we want to implement here. So
I guess along with that, do you see any immediate challenges in implementing that kind of a culture and some of these procedures that we're talking about as the goal?
yeah, I feel so far people have been very open to doing some of these changes. You know, we have a lot of younger employees and associates that work here, so it's given them those tools to be able to do their job better. You know, so I think that that's a good thing. I've not met a lot of resistance yet. Um, I'm sure we will as we continue to grow and we continue to try and implement different kind of tools. But with my supervisor, Randy Smith, and the senior leadership team, they've all bought into, and we all have the same kind of mindset of where we want to drive Lifeline to in the future.
Are there any values or principles you hold yourself that you think influence your day to day life or your work?
Yeah, I what I've learned historically in the past, I'm trying to implement some of those things here. Um, that's not to say that I'm trying to put myself out there to this is the way it should be. As I say, I want it to be very progressive from the standpoint. I want people to come up with ideas. Just because we've done something the way it is, I've kind of lived my life that I'd rather people go ahead and try and make a decision to make a change as opposed to bottling it up, for the lack of a better term, and not ever implementing something and never taking the chance to see if it could maybe to work. Granted, that's got to be in the confines that we have from a foundation perspective. You know, we don't want people just changing things ad hoc along the way, but I want to garnish people's ideas and have people come with things that they might think would give us more efficiency of how we do it. So to answer your question, I don't have anything right out the gate that I wanted to enforce, for a lack of a better term. You know, like I want people to be interactive with us and progressive with us, where we can actually come up with new ideas and new ways of doing things.
Gotcha. I know. So you've only been here 5.5 months. I don't know if you've gotten involved in the leadership development training
Yeah,
yet, but one of the principles of Foliance as a whole is the license to act, and
yeah,
really, it's exactly what you're saying: is come up with ideas, tell
yeah,
somebody, don't just keep them to yourself. Yeah,
yeah. And we've been looking at from the license to acts perspective how we make that again more interactive and how we garnish more ideas from that. So we've been looking at ways that we can potentially revamp that internally here to make it a little bit more interactive for people to have that. One of the things we started a couple months ago is called OTO, which is on the outcome, and we have representatives come from each of the departments, and we basically sit with two members of the leadership team and it's kind of an open forum. What we don't want is people just coming and complaining. We want it to be more proactive than that. So we sit with them and we have discussions about what impacts them to do their job every day. What are some things that we could do as a leadership team to make that better and more efficient for them? And I think that's been well received by the associates on the floor, because now they get an opportunity to come and talk to people and give their opinion of how things sit.
Yeah, that's pretty great. Giving them like a forum
Yes.
to voice their opinion and ideas, and even if
Yep.
they do complain, they're kind of looking for a solution. Like
Yeah.
they're coming with a problem.
And since we've introduced those, there's actually been quite a few things that we've implemented that we've had to, from a good perspective for the company, to make it better. And some of those is always congestion, right? How do we ambulances are big, chassis are big, bodies are big. Like, how do we move those around more efficiently? So some of those things, space constraints become a big one, and then we look at how we can put some 5S and work around that, and how we make the production flow better through the line. So it's been good.
Yeah, I know you have your work cut out for you. There's a lot of pieces, as I'm learning. There's a lot of complexity and pieces and that go into making an ambulance, and
Yeah,
uh, yeah, it's a process for sure.
yeah.
So I want to talk a little bit about you outside of work. Are there anything that you like to do? Any hobbies?
So I have three children. I have a 17-year-old and boy-girl twins who are 15. Um, my oldest son is more academically minded, so doesn't do a lot of sports. My twins are in probably every sport you can possibly imagine. So I spend a lot of weekends either in the summer in the softball and baseball tournaments. Winter becomes basketball and volleyball. So I would love to say that I have a personal life outside the work, but it's usually dictated by what my kids' sports are and activities are at any given time.
Yeah, my oldest daughter is 12, and she's just getting to the age where she's getting involved in sports, and so
Yes.
I feel you.
And that's a time
Transporting the
sink.
games,
That's a
and
time
yeah,
sink.
it's fun. It's a lot of fun
Yeah,
to see them work as a team.
yeah.
But yes, it is a lot of time.
I do love to. I watch Iowa football, right? I think that our season's just come to an end, but that's always fun. I enjoy hanging out with friends at that, tailgating, having fun at the games. And when Iowa's doing well, we're all doing well. When Iowa don't do so well, it's kind of disappointing for me.
Yeah. So we talked yesterday, and I know I'm going to bring this up because I like it. You are kind of a nerd.
I am. I am. I've been a bigger nerd than I've been now, but yeah, I've always kind of had a one of my ways of kind of decompressing is, I'll play video games online. I've got some friends I do that with, and be it LAN parties or single player. But yeah, I've always been a bit of a geek.
Yeah, that's great. That's my bread and butter. Behind
Yeah,
me is a bunch of nerdy hack hobbies, and I definitely played World of Warcraft and all the
yeah,
fun stuff. Yeah,
yeah.
awesome. Well, Jason, thank you very much for joining me today. It's been great to talk to you. I'm sure we'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Sean. Have a great day. Bye bye.
Yeah. Thanks for listening to ESOPOD. If you want to get in touch, send me an email at esopod@foliance.com.